Happy morning, girls. I welcome you all for our online session of Commerce Lab class. Okay, so in the last class, I have discussed about insurance agent license. Okay, how to apply his license. We have discussed till there. Only one topic is left in the second unit, which is 1 minute topic. So that is ESI and PF membership form. Okay. ESI and PF membership form. So in this particular form, if you see, both the employees, whether it is private or else it is government company, both the employees can avail the benefits of PF and as well as ESI. What is meant by ESI? ESI is Employment State Insurance. Okay, what is ESI? Employment State Insurance Corporation. What is meant by PF? PF is like savings. So you should ask your employers to deduct the amount to these two benefits. Like what is PF? See girls, if every month 500 rupees or else every month 1000 rupees you asked your employer to deduct it for the purpose of PF. So what happens, I will tell you, a month has to, a year has 12 months. So totally if every month you are asking them to deduct 1000 rupees, that means overall it will become 12,000 rupees. So now if you wanted to withdraw it, okay, now if you wanted to withdraw it, they will add extra amount to it, like at least they will add 10,000 to it and give you 22,000. So don't you think it is a benefit? Without your knowledge that 1000 rupees has deducted and now you are getting more than that. That is about PF. Then ESI means, ESI is about insurance. If you are deducting your amount towards insurance, I have already discussed the benefits of insurance in financial insurance institutions and markets. So if you are having some kind of problem, your company has certain insurance companies, they will try to pay the fee, hospital fee or some kind of risk covering fee for you. Okay, so these are the benefits of ESI and PF. So EFI form is given in your textbook, sample application form, and PF form is also given in your textbook. Please look into that. Understood? So that's it. This is about ESI and PF application form or membership form. Okay, now let's move to third unit. Now let's move to unit 3. So today I have completed FIM third unit. In tomorrow's class we are going to move to fourth unit. This is little bit big, so we will try to start unit 3. So now let's see what is your unit 3 all about. In your syllabus, go back to your syllabus. It is about memorandum of association. We know what is memorandum of association. Articles of association, certificate of incorporation, prospectus, certificate of commencement of business. Then till here it is known topics for you. So I am going to explain today from annual report. Annual report, chairman's speech, then model bylaw, then society trust registration form, complaint in a customer forum, can come and complaint under Right to Information Act. So like I will try to give you 10 minutes of explanation for all the forms, which is documents for incorporation of a company. This unit name is documents for incorporation of a company. This is your unit name. So in this there are, like if you wanted to incorporate a company, what are the forms that you need to prepare? One is MOA, AOA, then prospectus, then incorporation certificate, then commencement of business certificate. So I will try to give you a quick review through this particular topic. Okay, so let's get into the class. First one is memorandum of association. Memorandum of association is a must and should certificate or else must and should document if you wanted to start a company. So according to section 2 subsection 56 of Companies Act, latest amendment is in 2013, isn't it? So memorandum of association is framed, okay, it is framed which will try to tell you the internal relationship with the external relationship. This is something which is talking about your external relationship with your company, okay, which is like a constitution to your company. It will try to tell you all what you have to do, what you should not do. It's like an external document for you, okay, which has various clauses like name clause, registered office clause, object clause, liability clause, capital clause. So you all know name clause has what kind of name you wanted to set up to your company. Registered office clause is where you want the registered office to be, that address and that a particular area, number, everything you have to give. Object clause means for which purpose you have started your business. Liability clause is you are limited by liability, so it is limited towards the capital contribution that the directors or members have made. Then capital clause means how much of amount of capital that you have contributed towards your starting of your company. That is all about memorandum of association. So memorandum of association, they have given you all the specimen copy, please go through that. Now let's discuss about articles of association. So articles of association is also given according to Companies Act 2013. So it contains all the rules and regulations for the management of the company. So it is the rules and regulations related to the internal environment of an organization. So what does it has? It has the you know the contents, right? In BOM book it was there. So you all know that there should be a willingness from every person to start this business, and there must be agreement between everyone. There must be a statutory declaration. Statutory means something related to legal, okay. So it has to come from registrar also, stating that they are okay with your AOA and MOA, and you have to pay some fee for articles of association also in order to get registered. Next one, that's it, okay. This is about articles of association and memorandum of association. Now we will try to move to certificate of incorporation. So this is considered as like a birth certificate for you all. Once you are born, immediately in the year of 1 or 2 your father will get birth certificate. It must be known to everyone that you are born, isn't it? You have to be counted in the population. In the same way, incorporation certificate is like a birth certificate which tries to tell that this particular company has been set up and got registered, okay. So that is incorporation certificate. Next one is commencement of business. So this is the final stage of incorporation, okay. So a private enterprise need not have commencement of business certificate, but a public enterprise, they have to wait until commencement of business certificate comes, and then only they have to start the business. But incorporation certificate is till this stage it is enough for a private employee or a employer to start the business. So what is meant by a commencement of business certificate? After getting enough of capital, after getting enough of subscription and capital, this particular company is allowed to start its business. Whether they are trying to face some kind of loss or any kind of challenges, complexities or difficulties, they are ready with the amount in their bank account. So that's why the government will ask them to wait until the subscription is done, then only they will tell you all to start your business. Okay, so when they will give you all this commencement of business certificate, you have to submit the declaration about the subscription, that you have subscribed your amount, your capital is ready now, that you have to submit. And you have to submit the application where all the persons have signed the certificate and you have paid enough of amount for registration. Then what is payable in cash, what is payable in credit, that also you have to say, and how much amount of subscription you have made from which kind of areas, that you have to say. Then finally, the director or the secretary, whoever is important in your company, his declaration should also be there. Once you submit all these copies, they will try to give you commencement of business certificate. Now next one is a specimen copy is given ma. If you see certificate, a specimen copy is given for commencement of business certificate. So that's it. Now we will try to move to prospectus. So as you all know, prospectus is nothing but it is an invitation to the public, asking the public to subscribe for their shares. Okay, so if you see here, every share has some amount. Okay, so it is a way through which a company can create its own funds. If you see contents of prospectus, there are many. It is very transparent. The company will be very transparent in furnishing its details, like how much of capital, in capital also what is authorized capital, paid up capital, working capital, all these things they will tell you all, and how many directors are there, what is their particulars, what is their addresses, everything they will tell you. Okay, likewise complete a picture, what is the rights and duties of a person, whoever is joining in it, all these things they will try to give you all. So this is about prospectus. Understood? So specimen copy of prospectus of Infosys is given, so please look into it. Okay, so these are the topics that we have already discussed, but still I have taken few of the minutes in order to tell about this. Okay, now we will try to move to other topics in the syllabus. So annual report. You have to tell me what is meant by an annual report. You have to tell me what is meant by annual report. Annual report is something which a company is trying to furnish its details annually. Every detail will be inside it. Okay, every financial year ending, a report will be prepared by the company, that is called as annual report. Now for your annual day in schools, don't you think the principal will read annual report, like what are their achievements this whole year, when did it got established, what is their improvement, all these things will be covered, and what will be their future plans, what kind of provisions they are trying to give to the public, how it is playing a major role in the public, how it is helping the government, how much of employment it has given. Okay, so this annual report is prepared by everyone, not only one person, private enterprise, public enterprise, non-government, government sectors, everyone are going to prepare it. So if you see here, what all the things will be there in the annual report. There will be a message to the shareholders, there will be a message to the society, there will be a message to environment, there will be a message to communities, to products, to business, to healthier people. Okay, then auditor report it will be there, then board's report, then what is their annual accounts, about accounts they will try to tell you all. Okay, all these things or details will be discussed in the annual report. Okay, another one is chairman's speech. So with this topic is over ma. Next one is chairman's speech. See this speech, I cannot waste my time in reading the speech. What you do is, once you go to Chairman's speech is a speech which is given to the shareholders addressing them. Dear shareholders, where is your amount going? How much of income you are getting? And why you are getting that much income? In future, how much you would be getting? All these things, it's from the chairman's side. There will be a chairman's speech. So that is like given in one page. You just read that speech, and if you are not understanding, get back to me. Then now we will read about cooperative society. Okay, we'll read another heading, cooperative society. So as you all know, cooperative society also we have discussed, but again I am giving a brief understanding about it. It is a voluntary association of people to protect their economic interest. Okay, they wanted to protect the economic interest of its members. So there is no membership fee. You can join as you like. You can give how much amount you feel like giving. Okay, so it is not a profit oriented one, but it is a welfare oriented one. So this already we know. So if we see features of cooperative societies, so I will try to give features, then merits, okay, then types, okay, yeah, then types I will give. Then you are having specimen copy of bylaw. Specimen copy you just read of this particular society or trust registration form. This is a society, isn't it? Cooperative society or trust. So they have given you all a bylaw specimen copy, which is there in the syllabus also. So that bylaw you just see, but meanwhile I will try to see specimen copy here. Online I cannot tell you all, but when you come for practicals, you will come for practicals, right? That time we will see certain specimen copies, don't worry. Okay, so features. In the definition itself, the features are given already. As I told you all, it is a voluntary organization. So there is no membership, there is no limitation also. How many people wanted to join? Because it's like almost like NGO. So people are coming together for the purpose of working together for the welfare of its members. Okay. Next one is, it is a separate legal entity. It is a separate legal entity. Why it is a separate legal entity? It is a separate legal entity because it is recognized by government under the Cooperative Society Act 1912. Okay, under that it got recognized and it is being given a separate name and identity. It is having a common seal. So that's the reason we are saying it is a separate legal entity. Its liability is limited. Why? Because its capital is limited. They cannot repay the amount if their liability is unlimited. So it is restricted to the contribution of their capital. So that's why limited liability. Then control. It is a democratic control which is controlled by the people itself. So how many members are there in a group? In that, whoever is having time and are willing to act as a manager, he will try to become a manager and control. Some leader will guide them. Okay. So service motto, as you already know that it is not for a profit motive but service motive, as it is being set up for the welfare of the people. Understood? So these are the features of cooperative society. Now we will try to understand merits of cooperative society. Stability is one of the advantage. So since 1912 it is running till date. Okay, what is today's date? Today's year 2021. So you only understand the stability. So there is a very good stability. That's the reason it is recognized as a separate legal entity. One man, one vote rule is followed. We in India also, one man, one vote we are trying to follow. Isn't it? In India, democratic system is that only. One man, one vote. Isn't it? So whomever, for whichever topic or else whichever decision they are willing to take, it is like one man, one vote only. I have given my decision, I have given you a problem, I have given you 3-4 decisions. In this you vote. If I am trying to tell, then one man is going to cast his one vote. Next one, limited liability is an advantage. Why? Because no need of taking extra money and getting suffered. Then it is economy in operation, which is efficient, enough of financial resources, they can utilize it properly. Okay. Next one is ease in formation. If it is not having any kind of limited members, like this is the starting limit or this is the ending limit, not there, so it is very easy in formation. There is a government support also for these cooperative societies. They are exempted from tax mostly, so that is a advantage here. Understood? Now let's move to types of cooperative societies. So consumers cooperative, which means this is the cooperative that is set up only to look after the consumers and their problems and their support. Producers cooperatives means that is that which is helping the producers in order to maintain their production, in order to maintain their company, all this stuff. Next one, marketing cooperatives. So that is that which is helping the marketing techniques or else the market to run properly. Okay, that. Farmers means, farmers cooperative means it is trying to help the farmers, train them in different techniques, make them understand in which season which crop should be set up, make them knowing about the fertilizers, all these things. Then credit cooperatives means someone who is running the things on the credit. Cooperative housing cooperatives means trying to help the people with no houses, help them construct the house. Some constructions might be very weak, their building permissions and everything. Okay, so these are the cooperative societies types. Now get back to your syllabus. Now, model bylaw of some society means cooperative society only. Its specimen copy is given. Society trust registration form. How that registration form will be, I cannot write that complete form on the board. You just see, you will understand. Like example, they have given cooperative society. Okay, so that you see. Now we are left with complaint. Okay, so we need to know about complaint. This already you read in business law, Consumer Protection Act, isn't it? So who is a consumer? So we are going to read about complaint of a consumer, complaint under Right to Information Act. So that's why in order to read about complaint, so this is about model bylaw and trust registration form. So that's why we have read about cooperative societies. And its model bylaw and trust registration form you see, because I have already explained. Next one, we are going to read about Consumer Protection Act. In this only you are going to read how he is going to complain and where he is complaining. He is going to give a complaint according to his right that he is having, which is Right to Information Act. Okay, so who is a consumer? The one who purchases the goods or one who hires the goods. Okay, or else any uses of such goods or beneficiary goods with the approval of a buyer. One thing is, if you are buying the good or hiring the good, there you are said as consumer. Or else if you are using consumers goods or services, then also you are going to say him as a consumer. And one who uses the goods for his livelihood by creating self-employment, then he is also called as a consumer only. Means, like what you say, normal generic stores are there, isn't it? Okay, those stores, grocery stores are there, right? Even those people are also considered as buyers only. Why? Because they are purchasing and they are creating self-employment and they are selling to someone. So this is called as a consumer. Now what are the rights of a consumer? Right to safety. He has to look after his safetiness from the products. He has to protect himself from the hazardous products or services. Next one, he has every right to be informed about what are the new products that are coming in, what are its features and how useful it is. And another right is right to choose. If a number of products are there, he have right to choose from amongst one. Then right to be heard. Now if he is going and giving a complaint to the consumer protection councils like district forum, state forum, national commission, they should hear their grievances. Okay, if they are not hearing, then also you can file a complaint. Next one, right to seek redressal, explanation about the things. Then right to consumer education. Okay, so these are the rights of a consumer. Now who can file a complaint? Now we are coming into actual topic. Who can file a complaint? A consumer can file a complaint, or else any other registered consumer association. There will be committees also, isn't it? That association can register a complaint. Central government, state government can register a complaint, or else a group of consumers who have faced a similar kind of problem, they can file a complaint, or else legal hire, or else an advocate on behalf of defeated consumer, even he can set up a complaint. Now against whom the complaint will be filed? Against the seller, against the manufacturer, against the dealers, because they are the ones who are supplying us. And it can be, the complaint can be filed against the service provider also. Now I told you all who can file the complaint, against whom the complaint can be filed. Now where the complaints are filed? At the district level, district forum is there. At the state level, state commission is there. At the national commission, national level is there. Now if you see here, today we are going to finish this third unit also, isn't it? Complaint is about the last topic. Now if you see here, at district forum, who will be there? One president will be there, two members will be there. Apart from president, means he will be the collector. Okay, at the district person, head collector will be there. Two person will be there, one will be woman and other person will be appointed by the state government. So what worth of amount complaints it will deal? 20 lakhs worth amount of complaints it will deal. Means a district person has suffered with 20 lakhs of loss, that cases district forum will deal. Next one. Now state commission, if you are coming, it is also a cell where you can file a complaint. It is having one president and at least two females will be included. Okay, at least two members. So one person will be female and others can be appointed by the state government. So the complaint worth of how many rupees? So 20 lakhs to 1 crore. How much? 20. So at district level, below 20 lakhs. At state level, from 20 to 1 crore. This only you need to remember. Okay. So within 30 days, here also 30 days, here also 30 days, your problem will be solved once you file the complaint. Next one, national commission, one president will be there, 4 members will be there. First and second only two members, but at the national level 4 members will be there. 2 should be female and other 2 someone elected by the central government. So the goods value which is more than 1 crore, that type of complaints will be dealt here. Okay, so it is like you are filing a complaint in Supreme Court. Here see, district court, high court, Supreme Court. Understood? It's something like this. Okay, so here also within 30 days the problem will be solved. Understood, ma? So this is about complaint. Done. So now you go back to your syllabus. So we are done with memorandum of association, articles of association, certificate of incorporation, prospectus, so annual speech, annual report, chairman's speech, model bylaws and complaint. Okay, so that's it girls. Thank you for your patience listening. Have a nice day.